Well, Bank Holiday Monday, and it's an Airfix and Chill. We must be bored. We must be all stocked up with chocolate and Easter eggs and stuff. So we're here to do a bit of a live stream and an Airfix and Chill chat. So good evening, everyone. We've got 6 on the panel. I don't know where the rest are. They may turn up later. I've sent invites out to a few folks, so if they want to turn up, they can do. But good evening, all. Hope you're all well, and I hope you've all enjoyed your Easter eggs and that you've given up Lent and now you go back to your alcohol. And I gave up scale modelling for the month. That's what I did. I haven't done any scale modelling for a month.
Wow.
But I'm back on it this week. I've had a month off YouTube. Do you know what? It's been really nice with all that's been happening in my life to just take a month off worrying about doing an article, writing a script, sorting out a unboxing or videoing and editing. It's just nice to just sit back and just have a month off and just, chill in an evening, if you know what I mean. So, but I hope everyone's. We've got Matt in the tonight. Are you doing some sort of Star Warsy thing there, Matt?
Oh yes, I am currently working on the Bandai BB-8 and R2-D2 in 1/12 scale.
How's it going? Is it good kit?
Oh, it's amazing. Right, so look at this. This is one of the sprues for R2-D2, and you can see that it's multicolor plastic, which is mental. So the molding process must be that they pump the different colors in at the same time. Yeah, it's fantastic. Like I finished BB-8 earlier before dinner, and no glue whatsoever. Just snaps together like Lego. So yeah, hopefully I could get this completed relatively soon.
Wow. 112. Well, how much was that one then, Matt? Was it expensive?
Oh, well, I don't know, because it was a present my wife bought me many years ago. This is a 2015 boxing, so she probably bought it for me in 2016. But I imagine that they probably go for about 50 quid.
Great. Yeah. I know my Darth Vader I've got up there, which I must build for my friend. That was around about the £50 mark, but I got that sent from Japan. Actually got sent from Japan to me because I couldn't get it in this country at the time. But yeah, it's a lot of money. But yeah, I do like a bit of Bandai. I've got quite a bit now. I've got some old school Bandai as well, and it looks as good as it was back then. Like so,
I'm very impressed with it.
Yeah. Anyways, we've got quite a few in the chat so far. We've got Dave Markey. We've got Celtic West. Nice to see you, my friend. Tabody Goes Model Wax is also in the chat. Nice to see you, Tabody Go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, David Barber, Hobby Time's in as well. How you getting on, Hobby Time, with the what did I send you? It was the Rotodyne. Let me know how you're getting on building that one. Just going off Phil's in the chat, Craig Jules, Mad Dodd Hobbies. Yeah, quite a few in there. So Stephen Haynes, so Rally Chef's Model Shed's also in. Tonight we're going to be talking about your first time. And I'm not talking about, when you first realized that there was more to alcohol when you're 18 and settling down. I'm talking about in scale modeling. So it's things like, your first time. What was your first time experience like with airbrushing? What was your first model kit? What was your first, what paint did you use first, etc. But Nigel's going to be in a bit. But I also see you, mate. But first, I want to just talk about. There's been a lot of what do we call it? April Fools, and I thought it was quite ironic that this week Airfix have released a scale model for April Fools that you can actually print on a 3D printer, but you can't print it on the Humbrol 3D printer. It's too big. I think there's a way of doing it, I guess. You'd have to split the file down, wouldn't you, and do one bit and the other bit, if you know what I mean. But I thought that was brilliant. I think this year, Hornby as a company have done pretty well. Was it you, James, that mentioned the train side?
Loaded chaff, yeah.
The fragrance.
The fragrance. I think Lexi's been ordered it, but
have you ordered it for Lexi? Have you? She's probably eating.
No.
Is she there? No, she's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. I thought what they've done is brilliant, and the fact you can build. I wonder if you could use that shadow stand on other models because it looks pretty good.
If you cut a hole, no, actually, you'd probably have to cut the top off because the shadow stand for their STL file, it's got like a groove in it for the model. So I think if you cut the top off, that would probably work.
Yeah.
And then you could just drill a hole the right size in the bottom of that.
Oh, fair enough. You do, yeah, because I reckon, that shadow stand, the thickness of it is the same as a normal shadow stand, isn't it? If you look at it.
Not sure. I was going to print one, but I don't have enough stuff to put on my print bed at the moment, so I'm just going to save it up.
yeah. Well, I don't know whether to get the old 3D printer out and have a go at it, see if I can get it to work on a Humbrol. That'd be funny, wouldn't it?
It might be better in resin, to be honest.
Yeah. But it's great that they've gone down that route. Miss Modeler has hurt herself. If you go and watch her latest video, she explains that she's
rearranged the road.
Yeah, you're all right. She's back on now. I see that the microphone's unmuted. Are you all right, Miss Modeler? Are you feeling the pain of it?
Yeah, like
ow, dear! Don't.
Anytime I cough or sneeze or move too much or breathe too heavy, it's just a shot of pain. But
yeah,
it's not. Yeah, as long as I stay still and don't move, it's fine.
That's all right. Are you building at the moment, Lexi?
Like bits and pieces because I'm on quite strong painkillers, or I have been, which gives me a lot of brain fog as well.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to do little bits and pieces because again, moving is quite painful.
Yeah. Well, if there's any models you want, give me a shout and I'll send them to you if I've got them in my stash. All right.
And cool.
Always. So big news, everyone. Been rumored for a while that there was an Airfix employee who was leaving to go and work for Revell. And it's been rumored and known, but it's factual. It's not April Fool's that their researcher Luke has left Airfix. I believe it was either this week or last week, and he's now got a job with Revell. For more from Airfix and Chill, Luke has been on here quite a few times, I believe, and actually I always loved when we used to have the Airfix days and he used to do his speeches and his talks. He's an extremely what can I say? He's very passionate about scale modeling and about getting things right, very right. And he was known as what was it called? They called him the rivet counter, the rivet counter's nightmare, because he used to look over models and do all the research and make sure that Airfix kits were accurate as can be. But we want here at Airfix and Chill just to wish him all the best in his new role at Revell, and hopefully, it's a very sad day because as I said, he hasn't gone. He's still in the scale model world, isn't he? But he's now with Revell, so we'll get him to find his feet, and then maybe we can invite him on Airfix and Chill so he can talk to us about his new role. But he was very, when he did his talks, he explained how Airfix, he explained to us all on that very first time he went up, wasn't it, Matt? That, how they came to the process of picking what kit to release next. So, he's very knowledgeable, really down to earth, and he's got a real passion for helicopters. So that's why we have helicopters that have been released the last couple of years from Airfix. Does anyone else want to take on this a little bit? Anybody got any thoughts on his move to Revell?
I think that's probably going to be a positive thing. I mean, fair play. I don't really believe in brand loyalty in the sense if you work for them. So I don't think he necessarily owes Airfix anything, and it's in his interests. If they're offering him a better deal to take his expertise over to them, and in the hobby, it's going to be a good thing because he's going to take the lessons he's learned with Airfix, and hopefully Airfix's loss is Revell's game. Yeah. So moving forwards, hopefully we'll see some good stuff coming out of Revell as well, thanks to Luke and his attention to detail.
Yeah. As he's a researcher, he'll climb all over planes. And they've got some very good museums in aircraft aviation museums in Germany.
Yeah.
So,
Well, of course they have. Yeah. It's a sad loss, and as you say, it's loss for Airfix, but again for Revell.
Yeah.
But I was only thinking about, because when I heard the news, and I thought, the one thing about Airfix, if you've noticed over the last 5 years, I've been following Airfix for a few years. Their recruitment is rock solid. Where they've recruited in the last few years, they've got some amazing talent coming through with designers. If you look at think about what Brooke has done for the company with their social media. It wasn't that long ago you could put something on Twitter and there'll be no response from Airfix.
Yeah,
and
that's
now
true.
they've got an amazing presence on social media. So when they recruit well. So, but good luck to Luke. Here at who's that? Come on, was that Nigel? Oh, yeah, it's Nigel. There, I just had him to stage. Good luck to him for the future. And as you say, what Airfix have lost, Revell has gained. But yeah, so the rumour's out. It was not really a rumour. It's not April Fools. Luke has decided to work
Nigel
for
was a bit disappointed that the 124 scale short Sunderland was announced.
On
I would have
32nd.
Yeah.
Right,
So
let's zoom a minute.
you right there, Nige?
Yeah, I just sorted out because this. There we go. As soon as I turn on the Logicam, it does that.
Oh, I see.
Every time I come in StreamYard, it's like way back. Turn on Logitune, and it brings it closer. So
Brings it closer.
The line's better.
Yeah. I was just saying that Luke's gone to Revell.
I heard.
Revell. We just wish him all the best.
Yeah, damn right. The only thing that worries me, the last few kits that Airfix have produced have been a hell of a lot better than the ones previous. What's that all down to Luke?
I think his research, because he calls himself a rivet counter, doesn't he?
Yes, so do I.
And yeah,
I think sorry, you go.
I was going to you jump over, but at the end of the day, there's a standard that's been set now that's his legacy, and if they fall down below that, that will be a crying shame. But I don't think Airfix will ever allow that. I think they've now seen the light, and now they and whoever takes on Luke's role has got some pretty big shoes to fill, if you know what I mean.
Hopefully, you haven't got a clown to fill his shoes out.
The trouble is, I don't know if you saw my last B17 build. I've painted the interior of the nose green, and I've had emails and comments in every video I've produced. You're doing that wrong. Every B17, the nose bare metal, always bare metal, never green. And then I found one of my books, and there's a picture of a B17. It's taken on the 3rd of March 1943. It's a picture of the gun in the nose, and all the metal in the background is green. And it actually says many wartime B-17s were painted green.
I think that was my point I was going to make about Luke, is that whenever we would speak to him, he would already know in a new release what people were going to pick out as being the problem. This isn't the right color, or that's the wrong shape, or this variant didn't have that. And he would already have the answer of, well, actually, on this specific version, it was like this, or this is how it was in preservation, but we've had to use documents to go back and change it. Or simply, there was no point modeling that because we've got different variants of this at some point, and, we can't do it very specifically because it would make it very niche for one particular model. So that's one thing that Luke always had, was he knew so much about the subject that someone would say, like he said to me, that someone had said to him, "Oh, I saw you at a show, and you did this thing was wrong. It was the wrong color in the instructions." And he said, "Well, how do you know? Because I spent hours doing all this." And he pulled out his phone, and it was a black and white picture, and he was like, "Okay, all right. You tell me what color it's supposed to be from that black and white picture."
It's silly.
Exactly.
I put it out to him at Bristol that he had some of the painting instructions wrong on the Sea King, and he took that on board. But then one of my viewers, I don't know if anybody else has noticed it, on the Sea King, the shield that goes next to the door, which is that squadron shield, is wrong. I can't believe that he missed that.
It might not necessarily have been him. Is there someone else who maybe does the insignias?
Oh,
and stuff?
okay.
I don't know.
Yes,
I don't know
enough. 3 eagles or something, and it's 2 bears or something. You know, it's way off.
Yeah. The thing is, though, if you think about how many parts are on a vehicle, getting it right every single time must be laborious. And also, like, you know, Nigel, you raised this so many times, and I take on board what you say. When you're doing stuff in plastic, you have to go by the tolerances of the material used.
Exactly.
So if you want to create a Merlin engine to scale on an aircraft, you're going to have to expect it to be slightly smaller to scale because the panels are going to be too thick.
Yes.
You know, it's just one of them.
Yeah.
And I think it's a very, very important point, you know, that we are using a material that if it's too thin, it will break. If it, you know, and sometimes you've got to have it a bit thicker in places because you still need to be able to bond it to the other bit of plastic, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's instrument panels are the same. They're always too small.
Yeah.
I think a very good example of that is the Airfix P51, the landing gear. They went for scale accuracy, but the landing gear is now too thin to support the weight of the model. So although you can build it wheels down and it will support itself if you get it right, over time it will eventually just collapse because it's not designed for it.
Does that apply to the Top Gun one as well?
Yeah, it's the same tooling. So if they'd made it thicker, people would have complained, oh, but it's too thick, it's not scale accurate, but it would support the weight of the aircraft, whereas they went for scale accuracy, and the complaint is, well, it's not thick enough, it doesn't support the aircraft. The only way to do it is what the aftermarket people have done, is made out of metal.
Yeah.
How many times in my videos, Matt, do I say they can't bloody win?
You can't win. Yeah. There's no winning here, it's just surviving.
Yeah. A couple of comments from the chat. Yes, Luke is a great guy. I was talking to him at Duxford last year. So knowledgeable and humble. Yes, he was. I remember if you went to a scale model show, there was quite a period last year. If you went to a scale model show that had a presence from Airfix, it was Luke behind the desk. And on a couple of occasions, he was by himself. I think it was Bristol. He was by himself, wasn't he?
Yeah.
For a while. But yeah, Luke is a good bloke. Wish him well, and we all do. We do wish him well. As I said, it's, you know, with all that Revell are doing. All I know is that he has every project he was doing is now signed off. So he hasn't left any. You know, everything now it's all finished with.
He hasn't left anything hanging.
He hasn't left anything hanging, and so he'll go now to Revell with a clean slate. And we'll start on new projects with them, I guess.
Brilliant. So it's Revell doing 1/32 scale, which is my scale. Which would be nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting.
1/35th, Nigel.
Sorry?
I thought your scale was 1/35th.
Yeah.
The VOMAG.
Nigel's on this scale.
Yeah.
I prefer building aircraft.
Yeah.
So 32nd scale, but yeah.
I don't think Airfix will go down the 1/32 scale route. I can't see anything foreseeable anyway.
I don't know why.
Well, they've got the 1/24th, isn't it? That's their scale. It's the 1/24th, isn't it?
Some of their first kits were 32nd scale military.
Yeah.
And then Tamiya took over and changed it to 1/35th, and Airfix left 32nd behind.
Yeah. Interesting. Was it Tamiya that brought in the 1/35th? Was actually Tamiya that went, we're going to do 1/35th?
I'm sure it was.
Yeah, I think it was Tamiya.
1/32 is O gauge, is it? Matches up with trains?
That's it, O gauge.
It's crazy because twice 144th is basically the smallest scale, isn't it? Which is N gauge.
Yeah.
Then twice that is 72nd scale, which is basically 00 gauge.
Well, 176, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know,
Yeah.
1.5. What's it? No, 1.5 times 48th is 72, and then 60% of 48 is 32. They all work to each other. They all scale up.
Yeah.
There's 35th in there. You know, then 16th is twice 32. But it's like 35th is just, and then everybody's taken off with 35th.
I think that O gauge is 143rd scale.
It is.
All right, so it's close to 148.
Close. There's different sizes for the States and obviously the UK and Europe.
Yeah.
Just to confuse the hell out of people.
The 143rd wasn't an American thing, was it? Because it was English, wasn't it? You know, all the was it Matchbox and like the Corgi, is it called the Atlas? That was all 143rd, wasn't it?
I'm not sure
What
they are.
scale is scale extra?
One
The scale electric was
scale
30
electric was 32nd because you could.
What John just said.
You could build there was times where you could, like that Ford GT. I'm sure that Ford GT you could buy an aftermarket, or not aftermarket, but Airfix would sell something. You could convert that car so it could run on their version, not scale electric, their version.
Yeah, I remember my cousins having that kit to convert it.
Yeah,
I can't remember what. I think it was an E-Type they had. The kit was.
Yeah.
So for scale electric.
Yeah.
I saw it the other day on eBay that I never knew existed. I'm really surprised. A Mercedes SL.
Yeah, Airfix did an
No,
SL.
Mercedes 2-seater. I never knew they did that.
Yeah, they did a 280 SL.
Well, it's like all the bikes, isn't it? You know, you've got the BSA,
Yeah.
they had the Honda C15, they had the BMW R90, or was it the R60?
BMW, they had the R70, 79, I think it was.
Yeah.
And they did the BSA C15. They did the Honda CB 450. And they got that
as well,
weird thing from Kitmaster, which was the aerial arrow.
And I have seen on Facebook as well, there is the Honda RCV as well, the racing bike.
Yeah, the racing bikes. Didn't they come from Hella?
Yeah, that's Hella, though. That's Hella. That's a Hella tooling.
Yeah.
They did a load of Hella toolings, didn't they?
But they did some bikes with chrome parts on them as well. They did a Norton Commando.
Norton,
And they did a Honda 404 as well. That was it.
You're trying to see that bike.
I seem to remember building the Revel Suzuki motorbike. I can't remember which one it was.
The one I've got on my shelf is the Yamaha 500cc, but they were in 124th scale. Those bikes are 124th.
Yeah, they're hella.
Yeah, but they were hella tooling. They were.
Right, it's interesting what Nigel was saying before about Tamiya being the company that standardised on 35th, because prior to that, Armour scales were all over the shop. Yeah,
all of them were, weren't they? Especially Revell monogram. It was box.
Revell monogram, yeah. I mean, it was 140th, 150th. Some of the Japanese companies did some really weird scales. But it was Tamiya that said no, 135th. And they were so successful that everyone had to follow suit.
Yeah. I wish they hadn't bloody done it.
I do wonder if Airfix said, we're not doing 135th anymore, we're going to do 132nd tanks. How would that fare?
Well, somebody did it.
People.
Who was it? Somebody a couple of years ago, about 4 years ago, brought out a 132nd scale T34.
That was Hobby Boss.
I don't think it was Hobby Boss.
Was that
116?
Was it Hobby Boss?
No, I don't think it was. It might have been Mini Art Bronco. All of a sudden, this 132nd scale T34 appeared. It was like, and there's never been anything else.
I don't know. I can't remember.
My voice is going. You'll be pleased to know.
I remember the Airfix 32nd scale. They had like Dodge WC and the Grant and the Lee tank, and
Yeah. I don't know why Airfix don't do a 1/32 scale Hellcat.
Bronco, Nigel.
Was it Bronco? Was it?
the Bronco that did it.
There is no 32nd scale Hellcat on the market that's worth anything. They're all rubbish.
Yeah.
And Airfix brought out that absolutely beautiful 1/24 scale. Why don't they just bloody break the mold and do it 1/32?
Hmm.
You know, all they've got to do is scale it down,
There's-
and it would sell. It would sell
They,
millions.
back in, according to Scalemates, back in 2015, Airfix released a kit from 1975, the Crusader, in
Yeah.
1/32 scale.
Bloody hell.
Figures as well,
Was
didn't
that a
they?
Limburg or an Aurora kit?
No, it was
That's Airfix kit. It's an Airfix kit.
Crusader tank.
Crusader Mark
World
III.
War- They also brought out the World War II Desert Rat set, which was a Crusader set with the 1/32 scale figures with them.
That's
They
right.
did that back in, what year was that? 2005.
Right.
So they only released that Crusader once back in 1975. Then they released it again in 2005. Then they released it again in 2015, a 1/32 scale tank.
Didn't they do a German track as well? In 32nd scale.
They did an Emmy Grant.
They did
Esme
a-
Grant.
They
I
did
don't
a
think
Hanomag.
Rommel's wagon or something on the box. It
No,
said.
they did a Hanomag, which was Rommel's half track.
That's it.
Grief.
My brain's working.
Yeah, it was a 251-1, I think.
250.
Half track. No, it was a 251. I'm sure it was.
I think a Rommel's one is a 250. SDK said 250.
Well, that's what they built. The German half track.
But
I
yeah,
want
so
a
they
Matador fuel tanker, please.
Yeah. The kit they did, which Moss had an example of behind his back for weeks, was the Bedford QL with the 6-pounder gun in the back.
32nd scale.
That was 32nd scale. And I'll tell you who does it now. I think Italieri released that kit for a while, but somebody else has got it on the market. Some Chinese company, I believe.
The Airfix also released the British M3 Grand as a 1/32 scale
Yeah,
in
they
the
did,
70s.
they did the Lee as well. Yeah, they did the Lee as well. Different
Never
boxing.
again. So they only had 3 tanks basically, didn't they?
I
Yes,
can't
they
remember whether the
did.
Bedford QL was 32nd or 35th. It might have been 35th, you know.
Rommel's
Release year,
half track is, it's an SDK said 250.
what a tank.
Yeah.
Who did it, sorry?
Airfix.
Yeah, Airfix did it. Rommel's half track.
Yeah.
They also did Monty's Humber.
Yeah. Nigel's done that. And the Crusader.
Yeah.
The Humber Super
Yeah.
Snipe.
But all
And I
you know,
think,
you've got Scalmate armor is, you know, Monogram did a 1/32 scale military Jeep at one point. Actually, Monogram's done quite a few 1/32 scale tanks in 1970s, in the 70s. The gun Porty Bedford. Is that the one I've got here? Yeah. That's one.
Yeah, the gun at Porty.
Yeah, but that wasn't. That wasn't.
Isn't that 35th? Yeah,
This
that's
one is,
Oh, there you go.
that one there is 1/35. That one
I
there,
thought it might have been 35th, yeah.
that's 1/35, that one.
That's the
That-
same kit, is it?
yeah, that's the same kit. That kit.
Get one of your sprues, boss.
Got one of my sprues.
Yeah.
Yeah, get one of the sprues out just to check, but I'm sure they're both the same kit. Wheels and tyres.
Italieri reboxed this one because it originally was it a Tommy kit?
It might have been, yeah.
Yeah,
it's-
exactly the same, Nige. It's a Tommy kit. That's all it is.
But of course, Airfix had an agreement with Tommy, didn't they?
Yeah.
For quite a while.
Yeah, that was this in the 70s.
It's not the same. It's not
Isn't
the
it?
same. I
Look at
don't have a figure here.
Is it two? Hang on, maybe it's different.
Hang on, hold it up again. Yeah, there's an extra bit here, look, on yours.
Oh, they've added the figures, haven't they?
Yeah.
And the figures don't look too bad because if you look, it's got the beret on it and everything.
This has even got a bloody base in it.
Is it?
Their own base.
God. That's
When John said that then, when John said that Italeri released this, my heart sank. Because I went through my stash and I chucked a load of kits away the other day.
It wasn't an Italieri mold. It was taken from the. I'm sure Moss is right. I'm sure it's a Tommy.
It's a Tommy kit. Yeah, is it Tommy or Tommy?
Tommy.
Tony, isn't
Or is
it?
it 32nd?
35th.
135th. Yeah, 135th. That one.
I was just
I've got
thinking
to
of a little fuel tanker to put next to me Lancaster.
Yeah, the Bedford 40 in it. Yeah, and I think it's a Tommy kit. I've done the other one as well. They've done quite a few, didn't they?
Yeah, because if it was Airfix used the. I call it the pig iron sprues, like the AMT, where they just have a line in the middle and all the parts come off.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Actually, I lied.
This is proper sprues, isn't it?
I lied. This isn't. Tommy did release it.
Yeah.
It's actually a Peerless Max kit originally.
Oh, there we go.
1974. Airfix released it in 76. And then Italeri released it in 1984. Revell released it in 1998. Then it was re-released again in 2008 by Italeri. So somebody's got that tool in.
Yeah, they have.
And it's not, if you look at it, it's not a bad kit, Nige. If you actually look inside, it's a quality looking kit.
I built it when it came out in the 70s. It's an excellent kit.
I mean, the
We
gun
should do that, Nige.
around the base. It's just display it on.
Nigel, we should do that.
Like
I'll do mine. I'll do mine unboxing, and then you do your unboxing.
Why?
And then we'll release them, and then people can see, the Italeries. But yeah, it looks like they've cut off the or they blocked off on the tooling the figure.
They've taken
But they've added a base.
I'd love Airfix to do that. I'd love Airfix to do more bases because I think if you go to the scale model show, the bases are becoming an integral part of showing off your models, aren't they?
Yeah.
And I think that Airfix should look at creating bases, even aftermarket. Well, what does it take if they've got a tool in with say 8 or 9 different types of base that they can press? Then all they got to do is snip off the one base and shove it in and keep the other 5 for another kit. So it's only going to cost them once to tool it, and then forever. Then they can just have bases with bits of high. Don't have to be flat, does it? Because and then the beauty about having the base is that you can add to it whichever you want. You've got your mud and everything, so you can build it up if you need to at certain points. So.
I think Airfix did some sets, didn't they, with bases, and they never really proved that popular.
Yeah.
Matchbox did, but Airfix's bases were always vac form bases, weren't they?
Yeah, they were always vac form, but they tended to be in sets, like D-Day sets, like desert sets.
Well, this is a jungle building.
They did a jungle outpost,
base.
didn't they?
Jungle outpost, yeah.
Yeah.
Whilst I like having bases in my model kits, I think the main problem that they have lost popularity is because if you produce a base which has very limited scope for individuality, you're all going to end up with the same kit, effectively, aren't you? You're all going to end up with, oh, look, it's a Panzer in the desert. Oh, look, it's a Sherman rolling down the same street in France. Every single model is going to have the same. I think with like the prevalence of 3D printing, what they should do is offer like a modular system where you can have different parts and add and subtract as you want it to get a slightly different variant on the base theme.
Maybe they could produce a set of kits which were based, if you know what I mean. Like 6 or 7 different kits that you could mix and match.
Yeah, something like that.
That might be quite popular.
Ian Kerridge just says 1/35 scale. It does make a 2-inch tall figure 5'10", which is more realistic average height for a male human. So at 2 inches, it's 5'10".
I'm not 2
I
inches
would,
tall.
I would counteract that with if it
Yeah.
was introduced in Japan, 5 foot is not the average height of a Japanese gentleman.
No, it's not.
It's not. You see how big the well, it's like you can look at Hadrian's Wall, isn't it? You think, how did they stop the English from getting on the Scots to go past? You know, it's not that tall, is it? Hadrian's Wall, you know,
It's a boundary.
it's a boundary.
I'd like to know in this Citillery kit, that 6-pounder gun. I'd like to know who originally made that.
It
'Cause-
was all
in this-
raw ordnance.
Grey plastic. It's not the yellow plastic like the rest of it, and it's got a base with it. Have you got the gun with yours as well?
Have a look. Yeah, it comes with a gun. Let's have a look.
Has it got the base?
No base. I tell you what, the engine looks good.
Yeah.
It's a good kit.
Where's the gun to? That must be the gun in, mustn't it?
I wonder if it is 32nd scale.
Just looking for parts for the gun. I gotta be careful because some of the parts are falling off. Look at that engine though. Some detail on that engine.
The detail of the gun, it's got bloody tyre lettering. It's got all the rivet detail
Yeah.
on the shield. It's beautiful.
Can't see. There must be a gun in it because the picture shows a gun.
In fact, the tyres on the truck have got tyre lettering. Most kits don't even have that.
Yes, that's probably because of licensing now, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's done. Have you got Dunlop tyres on yours then? Have you,
Yeah.
Nigel? Yeah,
Dunlop.
Dunlop Trax grip.
Dunlop track grip. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I've got. Yeah. I can't see the gun. I can't see the barrel of the gun on here, but there is. It looks like it.
Lovely.
Yeah. It's Peerless Max. That's the manufacturer of the what have I put it there?
It's not as nice as that.
That's
No.
that's though, isn't it? Where'd you get that one, Nigel? This week?
That was delivered on Saturday.
Wow. Who's that from?
Das Werk.
Wow. It is Tackham, is it? That's right.
All Das Werk kits are, yeah.
So get yourself a decent chisel, a hot code chisel, and a hammer to get the sprues.
Yeah.
I like Tackham plastic. It's just they have those.
Yeah.
They haven't got on that one, but those stupid bloody sprue attachments where they run onto the front face of parts.
Yeah.
Not being funny, that's work kits aren't all Tacom kits. Some of them are Dragon.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes, they've reboxed, haven't they?
Yes,
They
they've reboxed them, yeah.
Yes, right, James.
Shanghai Dragon.
Wow. So what was your first 1/35th scale kit then, John Parker? Have you built 1/35th?
1/35th. The first ever kit I built in 35th scale with the Hobby Boss Panzer 1.
Yeah, Panzer.
A lot of parts, lots of work.
Mm.
Lovely little kit.
What about you, John Alec? What was your first 1/35th scale kit that you built?
I don't know. It would have been in the 70s, and it probably was, an old. Well, it wasn't old then. Just a Tamiya. I can remember doing that pack. What is it? The Pack 40. It's their 75 millimeter gun with that comes with 2 or 3 crew. I don't know. I was building planes before I got into into tanks. My first plane was a Monogram F-14. Yeah, 1973. Yeah, yeah.
What about you, Nigel? What was your first 1/35th scale kit?
I don't remember.
I can't remember
One
mine.
thing I do remember, I know a lot of the older guys on here are going to agree with me. I remember I built like Airfix and Revell, and then one day I went and bought a Hasegawa kit. It was like a Hasegawa 1/48 scale Jeep or something.
Yeah.
Oh my god, proper square sprues. really sharp, crisp molded. Fits like, oh. And I was like, this is heaven, you know? I think it was a 1/48 scale Jeep. I don't remember my first 35th scale kit. It's probably a Tamiya Chieftain or something.
How long ago would that have been?
Mine was a Tamiya as well.
How long ago would that have been for me, John? I've got the kit in there. Probably about 1971, 72.
You sure it's 48th and not 35th?
It wasn't 35th. I wouldn't have got afford it.
35th.
I can remember buying it from BT's. My first real
BT's.
actual modelling thing I remember was coming back after Christmas. Me and my mate had our Christmas money, and we were coming back on the bus, and he had the Tamiya 112 scale Brabham Martini, and I had the Tamiya 112 scale P34.
Oh,
Yeah, the 6-wheel.
yeah.
And we're on the bus looking through the sprues. It's like, oh my God, you know, we just couldn't wait to get home and build them.
That's yeah. Tommy just said, Steve's gaming. Here you go, Nigel. It's a bit of a response to you. My first 1/35th scale kit was only 2 months ago. It was Tamiya's Willie's Jeep, and Nigel's modelling bench guide helped me complete it. My first model.
Oh, bless you.
There you go, mate. See, my first and only 1/35th kit was a Leopard 2 tank back in the 80s.
No wonder.
Who was that then? That would have been Tamiya, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
No,
I think.
So either.
was it Ravel?
Tamiya did a Leopard 2.
It must have been a Leopard 1 in the 80s.
I was going to say, it would be a Leopard 1, wouldn't it?
Leopard
Yeah.
2.
Beautiful looking tank that is.
Yeah.
I just like, well, that guy that commented on that Willie's Jeep,
Yeah,
all the time I've been going, that video has had the most hits of any of my videos.
Does it?
really. It's a bloody good video, to be fair, mate. Bloody good video. It was quite nice to put together as well, because we had this debate, didn't we? Because I said it was to do. I put in my video it was something to do with Ford, and you went no. They were totally different, weren't they? Was
Willie's?
it Ford? The Willie's Jeep wasn't Ford, was it? Did I say in my video?
Most
Willie's
Willie's Jeeps
the
are built by
Willie's
Ford.
Jeep, Ford was a GPW. I've got a GPW.
Yeah,
You could interchange all the parts. All
Yeah.
the parts would fit each other, but they were two completely different entities. And that was why, if you listen about Jeeps, people always talk about F-mark parts. And Ford started casting or pressing or whatever an F. Every single nut, every single bolt has got an F cast onto the head or stamped onto the head.
yeah,
So that, because what was happening, they were getting loads of claims and they were finding Willie's parts. They were replacing Willie's parts
Yeah.
for the government free of charge. So they parts so they could tell the difference. But the trouble was, a lot of them went back to a yard, and they were all stripped down, and all the axles went off to be rebuilt, and all the engines went off, all the gearboxes, and all the bodies, and all the chassis. They all came together, so you could get a Ford GPW with a Willys engine, one Ford axle, one Willys axle, and that's how it went on. And they're called salads. They're known as salads.
yeah.
Mine was a bit of a salad. It's all got sauce on it.
I like to see Airfix bring out a 1/35th scale Saladin.
I'd like to see Airfix bring out a 1/32nd scale Matador refueling truck. Have I said that before? I can't remember if I have.
Before, yeah. Matador.
There was all refuelers on the market, actually.
Didn't Thunder Models do that version?
Who, sorry?
Thunder Models, didn't they do a Matador in 1/32nd or 1/35th?
A refuel?
AFB Club do a Matador, but no one does a 35th scale fuel tanker.
No.
For Lancaster, it needs to be the big 6-wheel fuel tanker, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Thunder Model might do it. Thunder Model's just come back with 32nd scale stuff. So
Did you notice their website's down? When you go onto Thunder Models' official website, it says, "Do not come on this website. It's bugged." You know what I mean? You end up with a virus. It's such
yeah,
a shame.
he's probably rebuilding it. Libor is his name is. He contacted me a few weeks ago and asked me if I want to do some work with him. I said, yeah, I'm back. So
Because Airfix were going to release Thunder Models, weren't they? 3 years ago, before Daryl died.
Did they?
They never got them in. When before Daryl died, they announced the Thunder model. They were going to do a Scamo and that recovery truck, and that was in the catalogue. It never came to fruition, and none of the Hella cars came in, like the Peugeot 206 and the World Rally car, the Ford, I think it was. They never came to fruition either that year. But when you go onto Thunder Models' website, it's been down for years. But
I was looking at it a few weeks ago.
Wait, because I looked on it, must have been this time last year. And
a few weeks ago.
Oh, there we go. Darren's just said it's online again.
Yeah, it's not said it's online
again, is it? It is back. It is back. Yeah, it's still, I didn't know that it was a Chinese company.
It's I'm not going to tell you on here that there was a Chinese company that does his molding for him. All his design work is his own.
I've just realised on their website, Nigel, you scroll down, they've got your video on there of the 132nd clock or 6 tug review.
Yeah.
Wow.
He wants to send me some stuff for review.
Video review by Nigel, and thanks for the point. We have added 2 missing spark plugs.
Yeah. Bloody 6-cylinder engine, flathead, and they got 2 bloody spark plugs missing in the middle. Engine that's fully exposed, and it's got 2 spark plugs at the end and nothing in the middle.
Christ, I bet that run lumpy.
Sorry?
I bet that engine run lumpy.
Yeah.
A bit like the
into compressors, I suppose.
A bit like Hobby Boss's GMC, isn't it? That's got the missing thing on the distributor.
It's got 5 spark plugs and 5 points on the distributor on a straight 6 engine. But that's not bad because the engine's covered up.
Based then, Nigel, where are Thunder Model based? In China?
I think Libor is in Ireland.
Okay.
But I think the company is Czech.
Right.
But the moulding is done in Japan.
Mm.
Well, that's a complicated setup.
Oh, I bet it is. But then again, the beauty about Ireland is that, this is why Apple's based in Ireland. It's very low tax haven for them, isn't it, for the big companies?
I think he's based in Ireland.
Mm.
Yeah, like Gateway Computers used to be in Ireland.
Yeah, but Libor is also he's an aftermarket company as well.
Mm.
He owns an aftermarket company, and he only does aftermarket for his own kit. But their Scamel, Jeff Donohue's just built one. That kit is absolutely stunning, and their Diamond T wrecker and trucks and that, they are. Once you get, every part has got to be sawn off the sprue. You can't cut it with sprue cutters because you'll break the part because all the sprue joints are so massive. That was actually mirror models, became Thunder models, but the detail is just stunning.
Yeah, because Jeff as well is also building that same DAS Works you got as well in Age.
Yes. Yeah. I've started mine. I'm trying to get my mojo back and it's working.
I've had a month off. I need to get my mojo back.
It's lovely. Look at that.
Yeah. Nice. So look at that. Yeah.
Mm.
So you need a tree surgeon to get the parts off.
On mirror models, not this. This is lovely. Mm. My problem with Takom, and they are listening because they're stopping doing it. The worst one was that freeze crane they did. And what they do, you get stuff like, if you can imagine, John, a pulley. And in real life, the pulley is sort of this big and it's cast and it's got a rim on it. What they do is overmold. They wouldn't just put the sprue tabs to the side. They came over the front. They didn't go into the back. They came over the front.
Yeah.
You end up having to carve away the sprue nib and try and get this nice rim back. Imagine a car wheel with no tire and the bloody sprue nib comes over the front of the rim. That's what it's like.
Yeah.
When they could go on, they've done it on lots of stuff where they've got panels which have got rivet detail all over them, and it's a panel that goes on the side of a tank, so the back is plain, and they got the bloody sprue nibs coming onto the front face.
Yeah, they do it on that 135th Yamato gun.
Yeah, have they?
Yeah.
That was one of the things
there's
with
a few companies that do that, though, isn't there? Because I think it's cheaper to produce the mold to do that.
Yeah, but on the back, it's to. I know what it's for because I used to be with injection molding. It's to get the flow. Because if the plastic flows too slow, it cools, and then when it joins up in the cavity, you get like a part that breaks. You know when you see your lines in the part.
Yeah. I've seen those.
That's where the plastic's met.
Right.
And that's why clear parts now only ever have one entry, so it goes through the mold, and then you have sprue tabs at the back. If you have it like Airfix keep doing with their Lancasters and stuff, it comes in and meets, and you get a line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it's to improve the flow of the plastic, but do it on the bloody back, not the front.
I think that's one of when I remember going to this, Matt will agree with me on this. You know, one of the big things a designer at Airfix looks at is where the parts go on a sprue. They spend a lot of time on that. You won't believe the time. You know, I'm right in saying if you built that Spitfire 124th, I think most of the engines on one sprue.
I think all of the edges on one sprue. The Hellcat's the same. All of one wing is one sprue. All of the cockpit one sprue. Yeah. All of the other wing is one. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Doing this bloody thing, it's F8, D9, R70 suit, 2 U12s, 1 N4. You're like, just put on one bloody sprue.
Ravel's new Hurricane is exactly the same. So it was after we'd spoken to Airfix, and like all of their parts now are more or less in the right place on the sprue, so you can just grab them off the same one. Whereas with this new Revell Hurricane, which only came out last year, so I bought it, I reviewed it, I built it, and I was literally playing Hunt the Part.
Yeah. And of course, the old Revell kits are even worse because they didn't have A12. They didn't have sprue numbers, did they? They just had part number 1 to 250, and they were randomly chucked all over the sprues in the box.
Yeah,
I know that Plastic Monkey Paul Shapland, he put that 148 scale U-boat back in its box because it was driving him absolutely bloody mental.
Tamiya was like that as well in the 70s and 80s. You know, to build, say, a Panzer turret, you had all 4 sprues. You had to get bits off all 4 different sprues. But I think Airfix have definitely looked at the ergonomics of building kits because I think the way they put their kits together in the box is brilliant.
I seem to recall the ME410. It's all on. They're all every part's on one sprue. They don't seem to jump around.
The ME410 is wonderful.
That comes with like if you listen to is it Chris the designer? He said that he'll go off and design all the parts. They all come 3D printed, and then what they do is they glue it all together using super glue. And then they, so in their mind they know how bits go together, and then they, in their minds, they, create a tooling where the parts go. And I think that must be, that must be a very daunting. It's all very well accurately designing all. It's like what I'm saying. When people got all upset about the Black Buck, that was wrong. If you imagine how many parts was in that Vulcan, and the fact that he's had to design how the tooling looks and make sure that the parts are in the right place, and it all goes together methodically, and at a point. So it is interesting, but I think that's something that comes with the age of tooling, with the manufacturers. They do listen to us. I'm sure they do. And if we, that polka kit that I've been doing, that was all over the shop. And like, instead of having like, you had your frame numbers, but then you had your bits, and they thought they were being clever by, with all like the decals, they'd have it as D number, and if it was like a sticker, it'd be an S number. But and then all the screws were different. Honestly, I ended up, I haven't finished it yet. It's still in 2 bits. I haven't joined it together yet. But then they use an outside company to make them in China, don't they? Those poker kits. But all
you need to do with that is get yourself a little tap set, tap the threads, Moss.
Yeah, but the hours of doing that, though, was it 500 screws, isn't it? That's a lot of time.
You're not supposed to do it in 5 minutes. It's supposed to enjoy
Yeah.
it.
24 hours, you're having a giraffe, mate. You're having a giraffe. Never. But also, I recently built the 1/72 Revell's dust boot U96 and loved it. My only issue was it was lack of rigging, so I made my own.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. Because if I
Mm.
put a rugged
That's
rigging
old.
in it, it would be like
That's
bloody-
old school. Yeah.
If the chat is frozen, just let it go, according to
Let it
Celtic
go.
Press. Let it go.
The snow doesn't bother us anyway.
Mm.
No.
This is something I wish all manufacturers would do: is label their sprues like that
That's what Airfix does, isn't it?
with a hole,
Oh, yeah.
a hole through, so you can go doop, 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 and you can find it. Not like
Yeah.
some like Revell does with a tiny little seam molded on. You know,
I wish Tamiya would do that.
yeah, Bandai do it.
Or
Yeah,
mini
Bandai do
art.
Airfix do it.
Yeah.
Airfix do it. Because they didn't on their Spitfire. It's only been a couple of years. Because like this one here, you know, this the Mark V C. You know, they're all small. Frame A, frame B. You don't even need to use the word frame. Just have a big F off K and an A and a B. That's all you need. So
You could do what Tiger Model does, and they give you stickers to go on there.
yeah.
I've asked that.
What happens if you're like dyslexic and you put it on the wrong one?
How do you read the instructions?
Bloody sure it was on Sprue 4. Where is it?
I don't know whether another one is the amount I Rubicon models. I had some parts for them and I couldn't get it to work because I think they've been labelled up wrong. If you can't get the plastic right, that's a bit of a ball ache.
Yeah.
That's only on one kit, but no, I'll tell you, we are quite lucky on how if you imagine years ago with model kits, it was all exploded view.
Yeah.
But the one thing I do miss is the fact there was a workflow you could read as you go along. Because I think that's one of them more embarrassed about with when I'm doing a review video is not knowing what the parts are called. But if you had, where it tells you that what the part is, will make it so much easier. It really would.
Mm.
I'm
Hatchet Lancaster I'm doing. Every single part has got a name. So there's bits in there like UHF radio transformer amplifier. I didn't know what it was, but I do now.
Yeah.
If they've got it right, that is. It might be some names.
What's it like, that hatchet kit? You liking it, Nige?
Brilliant.
Is it?
The detail in the cockpit is better than the Hong Kong models.
Bloody hell.
It's got photo etched bloody levers for the throttles, for God's sake. It's got all the plumbing that goes behind the pilot's seat. It's lovely. There's a couple of bits that, but it's loads of people have bought it off the back of me building it, so they're really giving it to me.
Yeah. You had to buy it first, so they didn't contact with you, did they?
I started buying it because I wanted to see what it was like, and I was that impressed. I contacted them, and they just ignored me. And then I said something. One of my emails, I said, "Oh, thanks very much, Eshet, for not responding to me. That's not really good customer business to be just ignorant all the time." And all of a sudden, I got an email that said, "Yeah, we're going to send it to you." I've just had this come on Saturday. It's a great big box with a load of ring binders and everything in it.
Wow.
Yeah,
How
really.
are you getting on with that Mustang? I haven't started that Mustang yet proper. I'm going to start doing it this weekend.
There's another package on the way now.
Yeah, I got the email this morning. That's what reminded me. I thought I better carry on and start doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all right. It's a bit toy-like though. It's a bit, but they've told me I can't. Hatchet have said I could do whatever I want with that Lancaster. I could change colours, move it around, change the build sequence, do what you want.
Yeah.
The Agostini have told me I can't change anything on that Mustang.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Which is a little shame because you've got it's 6 scale. It's got a massive door handle which is beautifully chromed, and it's got a bloody mold seam right round the top.
Yeah, you said that. Yeah.
Which Mustang's this?
The Agostini Mustang GT500, not the P51, Matt.
Oh, I've got a Phanom Eleanor Mustang to do at some point.
Yeah.
You should see my cupboard. I've got like hundreds of boxes upstairs of Valentino Rossi's bike and that Ford GT, and I've just done one bit on it. I haven't done anything else. I've got to
Have
start
they given
doing
you
it.
that for free?
They give me both of them for free. Yeah.
And you haven't built them?
No, I haven't. They've just been
Haven't
up
they
in
got in
the...
touch with you? Or
No, nothing. No, as long as I've done that video, they were happy. As long as I've done that one video. But I do intend to get on and do it this year. That's something I've got to do. Put that on and get it together.
That Ford GT, somebody's emailed me and told me that they can't get it anymore. They've stopped sending
I haven't had parts for it for about 2 months for that Ford GT.
Yeah, apparently they're not available anymore.
Oh, so you're not going to be able to finish it then?
Which is, I mean, it must be really annoying if you've spent hundreds of pounds and you're up to sort of part 40 of a 150 part build and they just suddenly stop. You know?
Yeah, but that happens to a lot of them. Because we had a really good chat, didn't we, Nige? Because they sent me out my info. I had to sign the contract for it, and the PDF they sent me was for Fan Home.
Yeah,
but it was the Agostini. And we were like arguing, saying, well, Fan Home isn't the Agostini, is it? Well, hang on a minute, something's gone wrong here. But apparently they are the same company.
Right.
They are the same company.
I think Hachette and Agora.
Agora's a different company.
Because I think Hachette and Agora both do the Titanic, don't they?
Yeah.
It's the same model. But
it all comes from the same factory as the poker kits. It's all the same factory.
Right.
But they just the thing about the Agostini, I'm going to be honest here. I'm not somebody who's like really what do I call it? I'm not who was that guy up in the trees for years, you know, when they had that motorway in Bristol? What was that guy called? The Defender of the Earth. I'm not him, but the amount of packaging that comes with all this Agostini stuff is incredible.
Yeah.
The amount of plastic.
Yeah.
And you know, and you're there. It takes you a good 10 minutes with a knife to get all the parts out of the bubble wraps. So the Swampy. I'm not a Swampy, you know. Did you know he died? Did you know that Swampy died?
No,
he refused the bypass. Anyway,
it was just a box in a bag.
Yeah, that's what they need to do. You know, all these boxes, and inside the box there's like 3 plastic boxes, and it's just an absolute nightmare. But no, they've been quite good to me because they've sent me.
Just Stop Oil will throw a bag of soup over you, a can of soup over you.
The Agostini sending me all these Ferraris.
Are they?
Yeah, they're sending all these Ferraris to me.
Did you ask for them?
No, they offered it to me. They said, "Would you do a video on this?"
Because it's really weird with Agostini, because I got in touch with them.
Yeah.
And this guy called Ross, I think his name is. I think his name's Ross. He came back to me. He said, "Yeah, we can do that for you, mate. Give us your address and we'll start sending it to you." And that was it.
But I'm not with
you sign contracts and all this.
I'm not with the Agostini though.
Oh.
I'm with a marketing firm who's marketing the Agostini and Fan Home.
I'm with the Agostini.
Yeah, I'm not with the Agostini. I'm with the marketing firm.
Right. Okay.
Anything they got a tank one coming out soon. They've offered me, and I said, "Yeah, I'll have it."
They don't offer me anything else. I don't really want anything else, to be honest. I don't want to become Wayne's World, you know. I don't want to be the bloody Wayne, isn't he? All he does is work, so I don't want to be that.
I do like Wayne. I think he's a lovely chap. I met him at the Spitfire. He's an absolute diamond geezer. Yeah. Lovely. He helped me with this poker kit because he'd done the Lotus one.
Yeah.
They've got their issues, you know. And I've had contact with people saying that poker kit, this issue, that issue, that the instructions are wrong, and I've come across instructions that are wrong. Yeah, they are wrong. But with the Agostini stuff, World of Wayne, he's absolutely solid. Because he's done them all, he knows exactly where it goes wrong.
Yeah.
He said, there are 2 types of screw. There's the screws there for plastic, and the screws there for metal.
Yeah.
And the problem is they get intertwined in the pocket kit. So you end up using plastic with shear when really you should be using the self-tapping screws. Well, that's what they are.
Plastic is a self-tapping screw. The metal is a machine screw.
Yeah.
What they do is they mold or they cast a triangular hole and you watch the screw in there, which is just absolute butchery. All you need is a little tap set, tap the hole. You'll see me do it if you watch my Lancaster videos. It takes 2 seconds to tap the hole. You've got a thread there then.
Wow, I haven't bothered.
I'm an ex-Rolls-Royce engineer. I can't just...
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. But no, we'll have a chat after, mate. I'll tell you what I've got. It's I said I haven't finished that pocket kit because I just this here was bruised, seriously bruised. But I did it over 4 days.
What have you done?
When I was trying to get the screws in, I was bruised here. I was physically bruised. And I reckon it's a good job they put in more screws because I reckon 1 in 3 screws, the heads used to shear off the top. And my mate Mark, well, we all know who Mark is. He does them. He does them right the way. He actually sprays them and paints them and everything before he puts them together.
Yeah.
He told me. He said, he said, go onto Amazon and buy a particular type of screw, which I haven't done yet, which I will do. And he says that should help you. But the screws they put in, but you are spending £1,000 on these things, and that's the shame of it all. Even though they are lovely. For instance, it's just an exploded view. So, for instance, I've scratched the top where the fuel cap is because they tell you to put this bit of photo etch in, and then the way they put it. But what you want to do is put the part in, then put the photo etch in. So then when I did it all, then I went to put it together, I had to rip it all apart, even though I've glued it all, because the part wouldn't fit because the photo etch was in the way. So when I take the photo etch out and put it in, then when I pushed the photo etch in, it scratched the fucking paint.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh.
I've actually said in my video on this DAX work kit, I've actually said in part 3, I think, do the guys that do these instructions ever actually build the bloody thing?
Airfix guy does. The Airfix guy does. He told me. Yeah.
I'd love to know how Airfix managed to miss that control column on the 24th scale Spitfire. Completely missing. The locations are there for it, but the part's not there. And all their CAD images on the side of the box are cleverly angled so that you can't see that missing part.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe they knew.
They knew it wasn't there. It got missed out.
Yeah.
Like there's no control column in the Spitfire. It's not there. Is it that the part's actually missing?
Yeah.
It's not like it's not in the instructions or you just got to find it on the sprue. It is absent. The part is not there, but the location for it under the seat and the location on the back of the control column is there. It's the column that goes back under the seat from the control column.
It's not the joystick, it's the connecting rod, isn't it?
Yeah. You can easily make. I mean, I didn't do it because I built mine out of the box. It was purposely for Airfix. I built it out of the box. They didn't give me the kit. I wanted to build it for them.
Yeah.
So the actual control column the pilot has in his hands, that's there.
No, the joystick's there, but there's a connecting rod at the bottom of the joystick that connects to all the controls that go through the underside of the pilot seat. It's missing.
That's hilarious.
But if you look at the floor molding, the actual piece, there's like a triangular raised area for that piece to go into that's missing. So it was obviously designed in. But I didn't know, like Moss said, everything is 3D printed and then they put it on sprues.
Yeah.
Maybe that bit rolled off the table or something.
It might have.
Yeah.
It would be that would be a perfect opportunity for them to release it as an STL file.
You're going to see a lot of that.
Yeah.
Well, they could have, I don't think I'm talking to 3D Gizmo about this. I don't think, and people say STL file, but it hasn't quite taken hold in a scale modeler's workbench of having a 3D printer of some kind.
Yet.
And I still think you're 5-10 years away from that.
That's
because
possible.
there's still, and the reason being, it's still a dangerous thing to use. The resin print. There's a lot of dirtiness to it. That's the problem. It's a dirty hobby, isn't it?
Plus, the terrible inside the house when you've got kids and pets and whatnot. People are a bit concerned about that, aren't they? They're still concerned about it.
Well, I find it fascinating. Sorry, I find it fascinating that they've not got a 3D printer in the International Space Station.
They have.
They haven't.
Haven't they? I thought they did. I thought that recently they've
that's
repaired
3D
something.
Oh, they've
printed.
done it, have they? They've actually got one up there now.
3D printed parts up there, but I don't think they've got a 3D printer up there.
All right. I thought.
Yeah,
It
because
must be the news they
they can't-
use a 3D printed part.
They can't use the chemicals up there. It's too dangerous.
Depends on whether it's PLA or resin, because PLA is just cornstarch, isn't it? It's just corn.
Yeah, but the thing is, you can't use PLA in anti-gravity. You need gravity to use PLA. That's the problem. But so the chemicals involved.
It's just I've seen them
That's a really
print
good point, Lawrence.
PLA upside down. And sideways. So as long as you've got a D-shape, it's fine.
Haven't you?
But as I said, that if they're going to use 3D print in Mars, that's what they're on about, is having 3D printers in Mars to make everything. It's the chemicals involved. They're toxic. It's like ammonium. If I'm right, in the space station, anything that's ammonium is outside. There's no ammonium inside because it's a highly dangerous chemical.
Can I just please interrupt? I want to reply to Brian, who's put a comment about the HK Mosquito. If you particularly want the Mark IV, I think it is the HK one, then it's your only option. But if you just want a nice mosquito in 30-second scale, I'd recommend the Tamiya one, unless you can get the HK really cheap. The HK's got a few shape issues, which probably won't bother you, but it's not as detailed as the Tamiya one. There you go. Thank you.
Okay. Fair enough. That's good. Anyway, so we want to talk about first times, right? Let's talk about airbrushing. And
her name was Alison. Oh, not that.
No. I said that before the chat. We're not talking about your first year, or your first time you realised there are,
about Wonder Woman.
What was, your first time experience in airbrushing? Because somebody asked me if they, how do I know if I'm doing it right? And I said, well, you don't.
No, you don't.
You've got to learn,
If she says, you're not doing it right.
Yeah. It also, when I first got my airbrush, I had humble paint that I watered down with just water and tried to fling that through an old airbrush that was, real cheap thing. I think it was a Sealy one. Do you remember Sealy brought out that little airbrush?
Say that, like the Draper Tool Company then.
Yeah, was it Draper? It was either Sealy or Draper had one, didn't they? A little thing.
Right.
And that was but then I got given that, other artist brush here, the art brush. I just think that my first time was crap. And I went back to Hairy Stick. And it wasn't until later on that, I'd seen other people using it and I got some sort of idea. But what about you, Sully? What was your first experience like with an airbrush?
That was all right, I think, to be fair. My first time, I think, was with enamels.
What, spraying for the enamel paint, yeah?
Yeah, enamel paint, some white spirits, and it was all right. And then I've got myself some proper acrylics. It took me a bit to get, get your mix right. But after that, it was pretty solid, to be fair. I've been doing it ever since.
What paint did you use? Airfix, Humbrol enamel?
No, God, no. I think I think it was Vallejo, and then very quickly went to Tamiya. Or it could. I might have just gone straight to Tamiya actually, if I remember rightly. Thinking about it, because I think I was watching somebody else, and I think it might have been Night Shift, and I've kind of gone off a lot of what he does.
A lot of you younger guys need to remember one thing: people like me and John above me. And to a certain extent, James as well. When we started off, there was no YouTube. There was no. You could go and say, if this spatter happens, this is the problem. You just had to suck it and see.
Yeah.
Some of the brushes were horrendous, weren't they?
He says.
See, my guys in it all is that when I never actually airbrushed. Mine was tin cans. Yeah. But I used to remember using aerosols and the plastic melting. But people said that can't be true. but I remember plastic bubbling using
cellulose paint. You use cellulose paint.
Yeah. And that was Halfords as well.
Yeah, but if you use car paint on plastic, it heats up and it melts the plastic.
Yeah. So Halfords acrylic paint is fine.
Yeah.
The only thing is, as I said, with those mold lines earlier, it accentuates them if you use their black primers and stuff.
Yeah. But, you know, I'm trying to think which book you must have read a book or something on it then, Nigel and John, on airbrushing. There must have been, or was it in the magazines you used to read telling you about airbrushing?
I don't remember. My first airbrush was a Badger, the one we talked about last week. It was the external mix. And then I really went to town and got an Aztec with the plastic needle and everything that Fenrir showed us it was. And that was the biggest load of crap I've ever owned in my life.
Yeah.
Then I got another Badger, which was still the bloody side cut feed.
Yeah.
And then I bought a cheap Chinese one. And that lasted a couple of years. And it all just the mechanism all just wore out. And then I just sort of sold it. And I went to a show. I bought an Iwata compressor and 2 Iwata airbrushes, and I walked out, and every other person in the show was going, "You lucky bastard!" That was 13 years ago, and I've still got it all here now.
Yeah.
This side load, I was watching a documentary. It was on YouTube. It was Adam Savage, and he was talking about, you know, and all the ILM guys, they had side loading cups.
That's what you could get then. There was no such thing as gravity feed, as far as I know.
It's off the side, was it? Like so, the cup was the cup's there. The cup was here.
That's
right.
Side
like that.
Yeah.
That's the large one. You can see on there that tube.
It wasn't like that. It wasn't like that.
That pressed into the side of the airbrush.
No, but you had some that had cups that fed in with pipes to the side of the brush.
The pipe. The cup was there.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's the same thing.
Same thing, is it?
Under the airbrush.
Yeah, it's the same idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all using them. Is it Pasha? The brush? No, Pasha. Devil Bliss, whatever it's called.
Right.
They all use them.
That's Badger, that one.
Mm.
Do you see my video I did on that airbrush after last week's show?
No, I haven't seen that one.
I went and bought this airbrush. It's a airbrush AB 130. It was £11.96 or £11.69, and it's bloody brilliant.
Yeah,
is that on Amazon?
Yeah, I've done a video on it.
I've got that one.
I did the video. It was £19.
I've got that one up in the attic, which I got from Amazon. I bought them because they came with the extra long, what's it called? Hose. They come with the extra long hose.
This didn't come with a hose.
The extra long hose.
Yeah.
That's why I bought it. And this hose I've had it for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Brilliant hose. Extra long one it is. So I was reaching all around the place. I've got that brush up there. It's not bad. It's somebody said it wasn't Badger. There's another company that were marketing that brush. It wasn't Badger though. It was somebody else.
I think it's a Fender. Bat Sharp.
Yeah. Bat Sharp is
Bat
the
Sharp.
AB. Yeah. I've still got it here. And I think it's upstairs. It's Bat Sharp's got exactly the same one. Must be upstairs. Yeah, it must be upstairs. But yeah, that was about £11 on Amazon.
It was £13 some, and I got a 10% off voucher.
Yeah.
£11.69 or something, or 5% off. And then somebody commented on my channel the day after I did my review. It went up to £19.
Yeah.
Bloody arse.
I just want to show Matt something in a minute. Look.
Hey.
2MBB8.
Nice.
Is yours Bandai as well then, Nigel?
Yeah, this is my other Bandai.
Oh, I like that.
That's got all the damage. Look. Built that years ago. And I've got the Millennium Falcon as well, the Bandai one.
Flory Models did that one the other year, didn't he? He got it from Japan and did it all up and sprayed it how he liked it.
Yeah. Yeah, I got mine from Japan. It cost me £500, and then Revell released it. 300 and something pound, wasn't it? And
apparently it's gone down in price, Nigel. It's now £12.69.
Oh, brilliant. Nice one. It's worth having, I tell you. It's bloody awesome.
Mm.
And you're on about 3D printing.
Yeah.
I'll just show you a couple of things. There's that one there. I don't expect you can guess what it is.
It's Alton Towers part.
You might be able to guess what that is. Especially
That's
if I hold
an
it back
engine.
like that.
Oh, it's a Merlin engine.
Yeah.
That's the Merlin engine and all the supporting framework and the bulkhead and everything for the Qatari Spitfire.
Yeah.
Oh,
Really?
I've seen that on the Fishcott, but on his Facebook
Yeah.
page.
It's bloody fragile though. It's all there.
Yeah. So, you go, first experiences. When was the first time you used Tamiya Extra Thin?
Oh.
Ooh.
About a year ago for
that
me.
was not long after I subscribed to Nigel's channel.
Bloody hell, that late.
Yeah.
See, I was using liquid cement way before Tamiya Extra Thin came on the market.
Yeah, I used to use Humbro liquid poly.
This one here.
Which
I
was
used
much
to,
quicker.
this was Daywell. There was another one that us railway modelers used to use called Polsol, Polsol. Come in a bottle like this, but had a yellow label with brown writing on it. This is supposed to be the same stuff because the smell's the same. But this is Butanon, this one.
This will bring back memories for John.
Oh, Ella.
Oh my God.
Wow.
MEK. But look at that. That must be 30 years old. And it's
Yeah,
still in
that's what I was
there.
going to say. I think the last time I used that was when I was a cadet in the ATC.
Why can't Mig Ammo make a bottle that can seal if these people can make a bottle 30 years ago that can seal?
What's in that, Nige?
It's liquid cement.
Yeah,
Is it?
liquid poly.
It's methoethane, whatever it is.
I think when you've used a liquid poly, a thin one like Tamiya Extra Thin, like I said, I was using this stuff back in the 80s, 1989.
I was using the Beatty's liquid poly.
Yeah.
I can't remember who made it.
This
but-
was like water. This is like water.
Yeah.
Touch it.
If you build plastic
Reaction.
ships, right, Moss, if you build plastic ships using liquid poly transforms the end result.
Yeah.
Because using tubes on those small parts, you just end up with a big lump of crap.
Yeah. I still think that Butanon stuff is better than Tamiya Extra Thin. I think sometimes that's too hot. Like when I was doing that 140, when I was doing that boat, and they had the little handles there, the guide, the shoulder. As soon as I touched it, they melted. It was, on that ICM kit. As soon as I touched them, they melted. Terrible.
ICM plastic is very soft.
Yeah.
If you ever get something which is really difficult, like ABS, I can recommend. I can't think of the name of it now. I used to have a bottle here, it's gone.
Plastic Magic.
Is that good? Is it as well?
No, Plastic Magic is recommended for the.
It's orange and white. The label.
If you can get some of this on eBay, Model Pro,
that's
good for like acrylic plastics.
Right.
All right.
So my I think you can see that up there. If I just tip my camera up a little bit, if you can see it. See those signs up there? That Tamiya one over there. That Tamiya one there.
Yeah.
Star came off, and I tried glues and anything. No, it wasn't whacking. So what I ended up doing was using this stuff, and lo and behold, it stuck on. But the only trouble is that this no matter what you try, this bottle here is crap because all it does, it evaporates.
Yeah.
Over. When I cracked open the seal, used it within about, even though I tightened it up really tight, within a month it all evaporated. But this stuff here is very, very good.
Put it in a Tamiya.
Needs
If you try putting some cling film on the inside of the cap, Moss.
I just at the time I should have put it in a bottle. That's what I should have done. But yeah. So
That's all of my stuff goes in Tamiya bottles.
yeah. I buy them. I buy the bigger ones. These ones here, the mixing jars. Honestly, they're £1.95. These are, but they are brilliant to have around.
Yeah.
You know, there you go, Mr. Models. One night, if I see them, I'll pick them up because they are worth it. And that there, believe it or not, it's got like a little square saying data, so you can write on this bit here with a Sharpie. They are pretty good.
One of my followers has just sent me a picture, a link. If you go to B&M stores, you can buy Nutella, and it comes in 3 or 5 jars in a tube.
Right.
They're just like that, and you have the Nutella and then wash them out and keep the jars.
Yeah.
Nutella?
Yeah. They're glass.
Like that? Like this?
Yeah. Might be a bit shorter than that.
Yeah.
They used to sell chocolate spread in glasses as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
So you could use the chocolate spread and then use the glasses to drink coconut when you finish.
Yeah.
Yeah. They used to do mustard in Germany.
Yeah.
Glass.
But this one next, I got to start doing some reviews on this stuff. Plastic Magic by Deluxe Materials.
I want to send me somebody. I ignored my email.
Yeah, don't worry about that. They've got somebody on the case. I've already chatted to him about you, Nige, so don't worry about it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. I said, don't send any to that bastard. He'll fucking rip you. He will. He'll tell you it's shit.
Should be on that TV show, Shameless.
I missed that program. I watched the American version. I gave up after 2 series. It just hasn't got the quintessential Englishness of Frank in the American version. You know what I mean? Give us an E. 1 whiskey and an E, please, Babs. You know what I mean?
Have you seen that new film on Amazon, Roadhouse?
Yeah, Ewan McGregor, innit?
Didn't you like it?
No, I preferred the old one with Patrick Swayze.
Oh, right. I really liked it. I enjoyed that. It was great.
Oh, yeah. So, Tamiya Extra Thin, everyone, so all used it. It was a game changer for most of us, I guess, when we started using it.
Yeah.
Tamiya Extra Thin was a revelation after returning to the hobby after decades away. Yeah. And just saying, love Tamiya Extra Thin, off to Bovington tomorrow to restock.
Nice.
If I was you, just go and get yourself the Tamiya airbrush cleaner and then top up your Tamiya bottles with that.
Oh, yeah, the X20A.
No, not X20A.
No.
It's the actual airbrush cleaner.
It's called airbrush cleaner.
It's and get that, and you know, was it £7 a bottle? It's exactly the same stuff. I've done the test, done the video, seen the 0.1% difference in the mix.
It's something like it's 51% something, 49% something.
No, it's not. It's 50. It's 50. It's 50.1 and 49.9 or something like that.
And then they flip it for Tamiya Extra Thin.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's basically the same.
I did have a bottle here. I don't know what I've done with it, but yeah, I top mine up now using the airbrush cleaner from Tamiya. If you can look at my video for it. Look up Tamiya Extra Thin, the Truth, it's called. And there's a bottle of Extra Thin and a bottle of the airbrush cleaner. And I've done the tests on it and everything, and it works absolutely the same.
The bloody British label they put over it for health and safety covers up what's actually in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. They had to do that, though, didn't they?
Yeah, but what's the point in warning you that it's dangerous if they cover up the dangerous chemicals that are in there?
Yeah. I can't see what I've done with that bottle now. The airbrush cleaner.
Can I tell you about my first time airbrushing?
Yeah, go on then. How did you get on?
My first airbrush was one of those Humbrol ones, which you have to plug into a can of propellant. Yeah. So I must have been 12, 13. And like Nigel said, there was no internet. I think I'd only really read about airbrushing from magazines and things. So that's all the basics I knew about
Gel
it.
Models magazine.
Yeah, something like that. So I begged and pleaded with my parents to get me an airbrush, and because they didn't know anything about it, that's what they bought. They bought the Humbrol one because I think like our home hardware shop in town had some, and they had the propellant can, so they got me this. So I thought, fine, that's great, I'll have a go. Read the instructions because all I had was the instructions on the box. Figured out how to thin down my enamel paint with white spirit, Humbrol, of course, because that's all I had access to. And then I used it on an older Airfix P51B, and I sprayed it all in green. I think it's just sprayed the whole thing green, and I was pretty happy with it. But I didn't know anything about looking after the airbrush. So that was it. It was a single use, because after that, the pipe was all clogged up, the jar was filthy, the nozzle was ruined. I think I maybe got like some flow through it once, but other than that, I was like, it was such a bad experience. It was such a hassle because I wasn't prepared for any of that, to the point where I was probably 12 or so. I didn't start airbrushing again until I think COVID 2020.
Wow.
Yeah, because I was just so put off. I was so put off by the experience. I was like, if this is what it's like, I don't know how other people deal with it. And then it wasn't until then that I actually thought, you know what, I'll bite the bullet, and I bought myself one of those cheap compressor sets for like 60 quid off of Amazon.
Yeah.
And that was my second experience of airbrushing. So yeah. I can't believe it took me so long to come back to it, to be honest, because it's not my favorite thing to do at the moment, because there is the cleaning element of it, but I think I've learned quite a lot since then.
Yeah.
I think
Gary said that canned air cost a fortune as well, and it did cost a fortune. It was an expensive way of doing it with that.
Yeah.
And, you know,
the best way to do it is get a spare wheel out of a car and use that.
Yeah.
Just take it to a garage, put it up to about 45, 50 psi, get a valve to turn the pressure down. That's forever. On the subject of cleaning, this is what I do. That's a jar with cleaner in it.
Yeah.
I've got the airbrushes stripped down. There's two in there, so it's only metal parts. There's no seals, no nothing, and I just leave them in there for a few days, give them a shakedown again, and that I find is the best way to clean them. And that'll really get into all the nooks and crannies and dissolve everything.
I want to say I use Brush Magic, but I've got a pot here that I've had nearly a year, and I dump my nozzles and stuff in that. I've never had to change Brush Magic. But I wouldn't leave it on with your seals and stuff, because you'll bugger your seals, even if you've got PTFE ones. That's really good stuff. I've got an airbrush and it's been clogged up. Put some of that through it. Within about 5 minutes, I've got the airbrush working again.
Right.
£11.50 a bottle. But I said I use. I've got one of these here. This is my Brush Magic one, and I've got a little metal gauze thing at the bottom there, and I just rub the brush against that. Now that Brush Magic, that's been there for about 6 months. It doesn't get dirty that quick, to be honest.
Right.
Like dissolves it, so it's good stuff. But also, I did take your recommendation last time I was at a scale model show. I bought some of this, Nigel.
Yeah. That's what's in that shot.
Yeah, which is good stuff as well.
That is also Tamiya extra thin replacement.
But it's too hot though, isn't it? It's very, very hot.
It is very hot, but you can still use it. It's absolutely fine. I did a test on it.
Yeah, fair enough. So we've got airbrushing. That's done. That's done. Yeah, a lot of people airbrushing. Started airbrushing 2020 in my late teens. Been my go-to painting method since. Yeah, you get into it. You know, somebody put a video up the other day and they hand brushed silver on a lightning, and I tell you, he'd done an absolute pucker job on that with a hairy stick. It's really good.
That was that not Shuttle Factory? Because I know he's done a
Shuttle
lightning.
Factory, was it?
Shuttle Factory has done a lightning which he brush painted. Shuttle Factory brush paints everything.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
I know. Ross at Scale Model Ninja. He did the 1/32 B24.
Yeah, the Liberator
one, and he hand brushed that with Veo silver.
Right.
And it looks stunning.
I'd like to ask John Parker. You're a big fan of brushing, especially with gloss. Would you tackle something like a Revell 1/24 scale London bus and brush paint that?
Not with red, no.
Right.
I would with most other gloss colours, but for some reason red never looks right when it's got 2 or 3 coats on it. I don't know why. It just doesn't.
Okay. Just wondered.
You would use an aerosol can, would you then, John?
Sorry?
You would use an aerosol can, would you?
No, I probably wouldn't even build one.
Got 2 of them here.
I did have a go. Funnily enough, it was a 30-second go full focus WRC Airfix, and I had a go at just making it into a straight RS. with gloss red paint, Humbrol gloss red paint, and it just went orange.
Right.
Once you put the second coat on and you add the thinner, it just changes colour.
All right.
Maybe it was because the paint I had wasn't right. I don't know. Maybe it was a faulty can. I don't know. But I did a video of I think it was a Blue Angels Bearcat Hobby Boss kit.
A Bearcat.
Oh yeah.
A Bearcat.
Yeah.
Wow.
Blue Angels flew the Bearcat.
Is that Airfix and Chill bingo there?
House.
But I brush painted that in French blue, and people to this day are still sending me comments saying they don't believe I brushed it. They think I airbrushed it.
Wow.
But the finish on it was superb.
And it's gloss, yeah?
It's gloss, just straightforward Humbrol gloss. The trick is just to use a large enough brush, not a small one.
And thin the paint.
And you thin the top coat of paint, yeah. And it finds its own layer, and you get a lovely finish. That's just the key. Brush in all in the same direction.
And you work fast to keep a wet edge.
Oh yeah, you've got to keep a wet edge, because once it starts ticking off, that's it. You add it. You've got to wait 6 to 8 hours.
I need to paint my front door, but I'm so scared of cocking it up. I might spray it.
Well, you could, yeah. Probably could. Car paint it.
Yeah, I've got loads of car paint and all the gear.
Yeah.
Somebody said last week there's a new Bearcat coming out, but I've not seen it yet. Somebody's announced a new Bearcat, but I've not heard.
Didn't James find it on Scalemates last week? The Bearcat that's been released by somebody. I can't remember whether you did or not.
Somebody said there's a new Bearcat being released this year, but I don't know who by.
Yeah,
Have
I
you
thought.
looked at the news? It'll probably be on there.
Looking on Scalemates now, I've just put in Bearcat. I can't see it here.
If you look on the modelling news, their website, it might be on there.
Modelling news.
The modelling news, yeah.
The modelling news.
Honestly, I can't remember what I mentioned on last week's show anyway, because my brain is shot.
Is it? Because he went online and had a look, and you said, "Yeah, there's somebody bringing a Bearcat out," but I can't remember who it was. Can't remember which company it was.
It's probably Hobby Boss.
I don't know.
Is it not Border Model doing a 1/35th scale? What is it?
If there was, Nigel, I'll be contacting you to get me one.
They don't speak to me anymore.
Pardon?
They don't speak to me anymore.
Don't they?
Somebody wrote to them and told them they shouldn't give me any more kits because I badmouthed them behind their backs.
Oh, right. Well, perhaps
I remember that email.
Perhaps they shouldn't give you calls to do it.
Sorry?
Perhaps they shouldn't give you calls to do it then, should they?
I haven't been badmouthing them behind their backs.
No.
That's ironic, isn't it?
Yeah,
someone went behind your back to do that.
This is what I've said before about YouTubers. YouTubers are the people that these companies should get the source material from.
Yeah. I can't remember who. Somebody did a video, I think, about Border Model. I actually commented, I actually feel they could become the best kit manufacturer on the planet if they would only improve their instructions. Their plastic is amazing. Their fit is amazing. Their molding is amazing. The detail is incredible. The accuracy is awesome. But their instructions are just crap. They are the best. I would prefer to build a Border Model kit than a Tamiya.
Would you?
I think they are probably already the best kit manufacturer on the planet.
Just the instructions need revising.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, forget the Lancaster. That's not Border Model's product. It's a Wingnut Wings kit, and the tooling wasn't finished. That kit is not easy to put together.
Yeah.
But like their Stuka, everything else they've produced is just incredible. It was John Alec. It was John Alec with his Recava. Unfortunately, John's gone. That's right.
Yeah, he's gone.
They are just. Have you seen that review he's done of that Recava?
Yeah.
Detail in that is just superb. And it was really weird. I used to email them and they'd come back and we'd have a right old conversation about the weather and the road lids and all that. And then another time I could email them 3 or 4 times. Nothing. They sent me a £600 kit for free, for God's sake. And now they don't even speak to me. So, Probably because I
Or
haven't
because of that one person.
Yeah, somebody wrote to them and said that they shouldn't give me stuff because I make it all sound really good on the screen, but behind their backs, I tell everyone they're rubbish and not to buy them.
But then I wouldn't have just listened to one person. Do you know what though? If you cut the nose despite the face, it's their own fault then, isn't it, mate?
Yeah, it is.
You know?
But this is what I'm on about. YouTubers should be their main source of advertising. It should be their main source of exposure because we're the people that have got like-minded audiences.
Yeah.
Yeah, a few people have said they can't believe that Hong Kong models are giving me kits because I've always given Hong Kong models such a hard time.
Yeah.
But Neil absolutely loves me having me on board because everybody says, well, if you're saying it's good, it must be bloody good because you've always knocked the hell out of them.
Exactly, yeah.
So, and I'll tell you now, the Lancaster's not as good as the Border model. I've just told someone tonight the Tamiya is better than their Mosquito. I'm still being honest.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
So obviously, Hong Kong models take on board your criticism.
Yeah.
And alter their kits.
Yeah, they have.
Don't they?
Made changes. Yeah.
But what you say about
shows...
some of the large-scale Tamiya kits are the best on the market.
Their Corsair
48 scale 0
kit ever made.
I think their 48 scale 0 is the best aircraft kit on the market in terms of accuracy, fit, engineering. It's a superb kit.
I think the Corsair is better.
I'm talking about zeros. Well, yeah, zeros, yeah, definitely. I mean, if you talk to another YouTuber that I can't mention on this channel, he thinks the Edouard Zero is a pile of crap.
Oh, I know. Is that the bloke that puts the undercarriage together backwards?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well done, it. He had the left-hand oleo on the right-hand wing.
Sorry?
He put the left-hand oleo on the right wing and the right-hand oleo on the left wing and wondered why it didn't look right.
But to be fair, it's an easy mistake to make.
It is an easy mistake. Yeah.
I might have done the same thing, you know.
But they got on a Mustang many years ago.
You've got plastic model companies out there that put the wings on a zero around the wrong way, like Starfix.
Bloody Starfix.
What about that graphics kit?
To assemble it the way they want you to assemble it, the wing is around the wrong way. Trailing edge is on the front and on the leading edge.
See, that's something that Tamiya do really, really well that other companies don't.
Yeah, I
it's
agree.
The engineer stuff so you can't put it together wrong. Yeah. Like if Tamiya did that zero, I'll bet the Tamiya zero, you can't put the wrong oleo on the wrong side. I bet one's got a round pin and one's got a square pin, like that.
Yeah, that happens a lot. Yeah, I think
does.
you know it's just ease of use, isn't it? You know, it's you know, and somebody remember, and somebody pointed out to me the other day when you see an instruction sheet, it's only the pictures are only ever in 2D, never in 3D, are they? If you think about it, you know, if you look at a picture.
Some are. Great Wall Hobby do 3D instructions.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But the majority aren't. So sometimes you miss things, you know, and that's what I'm saying. Having a script sometimes to follow it, you know, like word it out. You know, put this here, put this there, put this the other way. I love to do more of that. Yeah.
I think Italieri do the 3D printed now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
If you want to see good instructions.
Italieri, not Italieri.
How do you say it? Italieri?
Italieri.
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 Italieri. It used to be Italieri, but they changed it.
Yeah, there used to be Italieri, and now they're Italieri.
Yeah. Potatoes, isn't it?
I think the best instructions on the market are Revell. New Revell releases, some instructions are phenomenal.
If you want to, if you really want to see some instructions, you want to go to the ICM channel on YouTube and see their instructions.
Yeah. I mean, I think probably the best instructions for a current manufacturer of plastic kits is Copper State Models. Without saying,
one of those.
The best instructions ever is Wingnut Wings. I mean, if Wingnut Wings had produced that Lancaster, you would not have needed to buy another Lancaster book because that instruction sheet, the book, would have had everything you ever wanted to know about a Lancaster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unite.
Peter Jackson was like that, wasn't he?
So what did you say?
Said in your other reviews about the other wingnut wings that everything was compiled about the actual plane, wasn't it?
Yeah. It's just, and when you speak to Richard Alexander, who was the main man at Wingnut Wings, the discussions I've had with him over email, it's just, it's never, this was that was that. He'll say, I think this was this, and they used it for that. What do you reckon? And then you go back to it, and he'll say, I don't agree with what you're saying there because they got rid of that in 1938. But the color choice, I believe you could be correct. And he'll send you loads of photographs. And it's like these bloody World War aircraft, and they're all black and white. So you can definitely see there's a difference there. It's incredible. Really, really nice bloke he is, Richard Alexander.
Does he work for Qatari now?
He's the MD at Qatari, yeah.
Is he?
Yeah.
Have you had any talk about their new Messerschmitt then? Has he said anything about his Messerschmitt that he's bringing out?
No, he won't do. He'll only send what I see.
Okay.
That man is so customer focused. He couldn't send me a Spitfire kit because if he did, one of his customers would have had to go without their pre-order. So I got one after the customers.
Oh, right.
But what I mean is he quite, has he talked to you about the new Messerschmitt they brought out or anything like that? They're bringing one out this year, aren't they?
Yeah, he won't talk to me about anything. He won't talk to me about Wingnut Wings. Nothing like that. Because I originally said, please, have you got anything you can give me? And obviously there's all sorts of agreements. And he said, if I did, I wouldn't give it to you. But no, I have never seen a Wingnut Wings instruction sheet for the Lancaster. It was nowhere near complete.
Right.
That's how I know the border model have got unfinished tooling.
Really?
It's obvious the tooling's not finished, but he won't say anything to me about Wingnut Wings, obviously, because if he did, he'd be breaking some sort of agreement. But all I know is he did say to me the kit was far from ready for production. Therefore, they never got into the manual.
Matt, was the guy at Beacon Models, wasn't he to do with Wingnut Wings?
I feel like the answer is yes. I think he may have been one of the designers.
Yeah.
But I couldn't categorically. It's been so long now since it was discussed that I couldn't categorically say either way anymore. Probably would be worth looking at their old Kickstarter when they tried to get Beacon off the ground.
They've got very quiet, haven't they, Beacon Models?
Yeah, so the latest I know about Beacon is that they were working on they've got their Spitfire 109 in production, and they've got the next run of kits looking at being ready, and it's potentially a bagged kit. So, like the Eduard 144th one, so it just comes in a bag with the stuff for different paint schemes and stuff for Spitfires and 109s. But it's good because inside the kit they had options straight off the bat for like Mark 1 photo reconnaissance version, like the 109 you could do all the way from the early E1 all the way to the E7. So all it just needs now is different transfers and you're good to go. I do know that they are developing the design work for other products. As to which products those are, I can't tell you, mostly because I just don't know. But I know that because this is what I'm about to say is public, they want to do another Kickstarter where they do the second part of their Battle of Britain series. So it'll be like Hurricane, Ju-87, Defiant, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But there is scope as well that they might branch out into other demographics of the modelling community as well.
Yeah.
What scale are we talking, Matt?
144th.
144th, yeah.
Have you not got one of their kits, Nige?
Who are they?
Beacon Models.
No.
Their Spitfire is phenomenal.
What was the name of the designer?
So it's Will and Brian, isn't it?
Will and Brian, isn't it? Yeah.
Will and Brian.
I've got Anto Bond, Jason Adank, Brian Wall. Brian Wall, would that be him?
That's one of them, I think.
Yeah, he was a designer at Wingnut Wings then. Well, it says additional 3D modelling by. This is a 2010 kit, I think. This one.
There you go, Nigel. On one sprue, that's the size of it.
Yeah.
tiny but beautiful.
It is, it's gorgeous. The Spitfire's gorgeous.
Absolutely.
Didn't you have him on your Airfix and Chill?
Yeah, he came on at a chat with us.
Yeah, they came on, yeah. That Spitfire kit, you can make about 6 different versions of the Spitfire Mark 1 out.
Bloody hell. What was the name of the company?
Beacon Models.
Yeah,
Beacon
I've just
Models.
looked on their website. Brian is the former lead designer at Wingnut Wings.
Yeah.
So, and he works with Will, who has done things for Flames of War and Battlefront Miniatures.
Yeah.
He says he's the lead designer.
He says he was the lead designer.
Yeah, because it says here we've got 3D modeling by Anto Bond, additional 3D modeling by Jason Alec and Brian Moore. However, that was a 2007 kit, so it could be that he became the lead designer.
Yeah, because this dates the wording on their website dates from 2020, so there's a 14-year gap there.
Right.
Which, of course, was before Beacon existed, wasn't it?
Yeah, so Beacon didn't exist until 2020.
Right.
Yeah.
So are they from New Zealand?
No, British.
No, they're based in England, yeah.
I suppose you have a 3D design. You don't need to be in the same country, do you?
They actually do a twin pack kit with a 109 and a Spitfire in the same box.
This is the one.
Yeah.
That's the one. That's
That's
the one.
it. That's it.
Put the link in private chat for Nige.
Yeah.
The good thing about Beacon is they took on a lot of lessons from the community before they started putting work into their kits. So all of the stuff that we've been begging the kit companies to do, granted they only do 144th scale at the moment, which is quite niche, but if you look on their boxes, it tells you where the stuff is manufactured. So it tells you like the transfers come from Italy, the masks are included, come from the Czech Republic, I think, and the production is done in the UK for everything else. There's also tooling dates and history of the kit already on the box, so you know what you're getting into. Like, we've been begging for it as a community for companies to put their tooling dates on their boxes for years, and I think it was only a couple of years.
Well, there's only 2 companies that do that at the moment. That's
Airfix do it. Hella do it as well.
Hella do it as well, do they? I didn't realise.
Yeah, but Hella's is a little bit
on their boxes.
more. What would I say? They're a little bit looser with the information they put on there. So with Airfix, it's like this kit was designed. The tooling was designed in 1962.
Or whatever,
This release dates from 2021, for example. Whereas Hella, they're like, oh well, the tooling originally dates from this date, but we actually refreshed the tooling in this date, and then that's probably about it. Copyright date of this, so it's a little bit more ambiguous. But at least we are making strides toward that transparency. I mean, if you go into like Hobbycraft, for example, and you look on their shelves, you've got a Mr. Craft P51, you've got a Revell P51, an Academy P51, and an Airfix P51 all sitting there. The Revell one's like £6, the Mr. Craft one's £8, the Academy one is £9, and the Airfix one is £9. Which one do you pick? Well, you think they're all the same, you go for the cheaper one, which is Revell, and that's a 1960s tooling, which is a Reeboks and Frog, and it's horrendous. Or you look on the box of the Airfix one, you go, oh, this one was only tooled in 2012, so I'll go for that one.
The Mr. Craft one must be horrendous, surely, Matt.
It's probably a hell of a box. But yeah, no, the transfers in Mr. Craft are... if Mr. Craft had the transfers that Airfix used to have back in the early noughties, then the kits would be absolutely passable. But they just don't. I don't even know what they're doing with the transfers. They might as well have just coloured it in on a piece of paper and then said, there you go, do it yourself.
Why has Hobbycraft got Mr. Craft anyway?
Sorry?
Why does Hobbycraft stock Mr. Craft anyway?
Because there was a period of time where they I think I don't know the ins and outs of it, but in essence they stopped selling Airfix. Potentially their licensing or their contract ran out. They didn't get the hands on anymore. And as a stopgap measure, they imported a budget range from, I think it's Poland. Is that where Mr. Craft come from? As to fill that gap. Tamiya, I presume, is quite expensive. They were already stocking Tamiya. Revell, they're already stocking Revell. So they needed a stopgap measure to fill the gap. So when they introduced the Mr. Craft kits, they were putting them on the shelves for the prices that they would previously sell Airfix, and it did not go down well. On the website for Hobbycraft, if you take a look, a lot of them were saying, why is this much money? It's a really bad model. So I think that was a mistake on their part, because I imagine they just went, as a business decision, we need to plug this gap with some kits from a company. These guys are cheap. These guys will do us a deal. We'll get them on the shelves and we won't make any losses. But I don't think anyone actually vetted the quality of the product. And as a result, I think that may have hurt them. And now, obviously, they're stocking Airfix again. So,
yeah. But they're not doing their paints, though. You don't see Humble Paints there.
yeah. No, I haven't seen any Humble Paints. It's Revell and Tamiya.
Yeah.
And that's quite, I thought they were going to do LP, but apparently not. So
I've seen a couple of tins of the lacquer paint in there from Tamiya, but only like 3.
How do Revell get away with their kits? Like, I've got that 96 scale Saturn V, and it's got on there, new in massive red letters across the front of the box.
Because it's a new release.
60s tooling.
Yeah, it's a new release. They've changed something on the box. That's how they get around the law.
Is it possibly that it was like Revell USA transferred it to Revell Germany, and that's why it's
no,
now
because if you look on Scale Mates, that 96 scale Saturn V has been released about 1 million times.
Yeah.
And every time it's new.
Yeah, Mr. Craft do the same thing. Their IL2M, which was like a 1960s tooling, they had new on the box. Well, it's not new. I don't even think the kit was even finished, because people keep telling me. They keep saying, "Oh, don't be so hard on it," because the designer. I mean, this is sad. The designer passed away before he finished designing the tooling. I was like, but if they're selling it as a finished product and they never went back and solved the problems, then I'm going to judge it as a finished product. I'm not going to take into account that this poor chap never finished his project, never finished the design work, because that would be unrealistic when you're paying actual money for a product in the shop. You wouldn't go into BMW and they'd say, "Oh, well, they didn't quite finish designing this car, but we'll sell it to you anyway for full price."
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they did.
Yeah, so you ain't going to go and buy an Airfix bloody Catalina with no wings because the designer died halfway through making the tooling.
Exactly. Or left. Just went to another company.
Or with just propellers off a Spitfire because they couldn't design the propellers for the Catalina.
Well, Hobby Boss do that, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Interestingly enough, Matt, when I was talking to you in the Discord about that Mr. Craft kit, I think it was right up your street.
Oh. Yes. Yeah.
Their Codron CR714 is the most amazing thing I've ever seen.
Is it? I've got the Devotine D520 to do at some point, which is a hell of a kit, I think. But it's
the CR14, you have to assemble the fuselage halves around the canopy.
Wow. Okay, nice. Yeah, that kind of makes sense, to be fair.
No, it doesn't.
Because they've got windows at the back, haven't they? They've got sort of like back windows, which you need to.
Yeah,
I'd give it a crack.
But how do you assemble a fuselage half and glue it in position around the canopy transparency?
They must have it. You got to have a solution there. I think that's where they go. Hey, you as a modeler, you figure it out. We've given you all the tools. You've got the parts.
That's like the difference when you compare Wingnut Wings to Revell.
Yeah,
Wingnut Wings is designed by a modeler for a modeler.
Yeah.
Revell is designed by a bloke sat on a CAD modeling tool.
Yeah.
And when some of their sprue connection points and that are just pathetic. But I don't think there is a Wingnut Wings kit out there that's got a fault.
No,
probably not. No, but they're a fortune, aren't they?
This is what people forget. They weren't. They were
probably not. No, probably
you
not.
had to go and spend £100 on a Tamiya Spitfire.
Yeah.
The bloody, an FD5A for Wingnut Wings was like $69 New Zealand. That was like £45. They weren't expensive. They're only expensive now because people like me buy them and sell them. But,
yeah.
Matt, have you got the Hurricane with the smallest canopy ever made?
So, yes. So, I just wanted to bring us back on topic for a second. My first ever kit was this.
Yeah.
It was the Airfix Hawker Hurricane Mark 1/2B in 1/72 scale, which I bought after we'd had a family trip out to London. He'd been in the Imperial War Museum, and I was like, I want a Spitfire. I just want to have a Spitfire and take it home and build it. They didn't have any, but they had this. So my mum was like, yeah, fine, you can have that one. But I think they were a bit apprehensive about letting me have it because they didn't really know much about model building, and if something went wrong, they wouldn't be able to help me fix it. So I was like, that's fine, I'll teach myself. So all I had was the information that was on this box. So it's a normal kit inside a blister pack. I bought this one to redo it when I get to 100,000 subscribers, and unfortunately, I haven't quite got there yet. But you can see you've only got 2 pots of paint, which is a bit of a shame because there's 2 paint schemes in here. One of them is brown and green with the Sky Type S. The other one is dark grey, dark green, and light grey underneath, which you don't get paints for that, so that's helpful. And the brush there is like, you remember when you used to get those really rubbish art kits?
Yeah, they were terrible.
Yeah, that's horrendous. I do have my first kit built somewhere. I don't think it's on my shelf. I think it's in the garage. But that was my first kit. I'm looking forward to doing it again.
I think the brushes on that brush are made of nylon.
Yeah, that's not the actual kit that you bought, is it?
Yeah, it is. Not the actual. No, that's the same kit.
The same kit you bought.
It's the same kit from the same era.
Yeah.
Just I've rebought it to redo it at some point. Potentially 100,000 subs, but we're way off yet.
What about small? I've got the Airfix Saturn 5, and remember the command module was too small, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So they've made the command module bigger, the round part. Sorry, the CSM, not the actual capsule. And they've done the blast protector on the front. They've made that bigger, but they've left the command module the same size.
That's right.
So you've got this tiny little nipple sticking on a great big. It's pathetic. What are they thinking?
Need to redo it, don't they? They need to redo the space stuff.
Yeah, they do.
Interesting.
Yeah, a new tool, 144 scale Saturn 5 would sell like hotcakes.
Yeah.
Because the Revell and the Airfix are pretty crap, aren't they?
Well,
yeah.
Aren't they? I mean, I think the Saturn 5 came out about 1970, was it? It was ancient.
Yeah.
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 Well, Saturn was 69, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was, well, it was before then because they were using it for the pre-lunar, the pre-lunar stuff as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I was there. I saw Apollo 13 go up.
Did you?
I can remember the feeling now.
I remember being in Florida in a shopping centre, and somebody said, "Come out, rush out quick, rush out quick," and the Columbia was going up.
Yeah.
It wasn't the one it blew up on the re-entry. It was much earlier than that. It is an amazing sight.
Yeah.
It is.
It's funny because I can remember seeing one of those go up, turn over on its back. Yeah. And the sky was just getting dark. I remember seeing it, but I can't pinpoint when it was.
What about a space shuttle, guys? Yeah, we've all said it. They're all old tools now. And the problem is that they're tired tools as well. Yeah. They've been done to death. So
the Dragon one's quite nice, but you
try to hold that Dragon one though, Nige. I can't get one for love nor money.
I've got 2. I've got one with the 747 and one on its own.
Have you?
And I've got the 72nd scale monogram shuttle with the pack, the stack.
Yeah.
And I've got the 72nd scale monogram on its own as well.
Yeah.
That's not too bad, that kit.
No, the Revell one's rubbish, isn't it? The monogram one's really nice.
It's better.
Academy.
Hobbyheim sent me some stuff, some Apollo stuff. Very good of him.
Academy do the shuttle with the 747, but it's in a 288 scale.
Yeah. I've got it somewhere here, that one. Just looking now at my stash. I've got it here somewhere. Yeah, that's the one up there. Yeah, I've got it. Yeah, 128. 1288 it is.
Yeah.
Tiny little thing. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's my son's and I'm still painting it.
There's another scam at the moment, model shop at the moment, floating around, Super Shop or something like that. Yeah, like that. Hobbies 2000. Don't keep away from them. Look, honestly, if you ever want to know of a decent model shop, just ask us, guys, because we know the good ones. They should do more airliners like the A320 or Ryanair and either Airfix or Revell. They still do, mate. They do them, but unfortunately, Zvezda do them, don't they? Is it the A320 and the 747s and stuff? But
yeah.
Isn't the Revell stuff Academy, really?
Academy, yeah. Korean.
With Revell stuff, you have to look on the side of the box, where it says if it says made in Ukraine, it's XICM. If it says made in Japan, it's Hasegawa. If it says made in Poland, it's Revell Germany.
Revell,
If it's made in Korea, I already said that's Academy. Yeah. But you have got to be careful. The Dragon BF110 in 1/32 scale, they have borrowed the tooling and they've molded it themselves. So it's horrible white plastic and it's full of stink marks.
Yeah.
So you're not getting a Dragon kit. It's cheaper, yeah, but you're not getting a Dragon kit.
The Rotodyne.
Yeah, did you get it? Did you get it done all right then, Matt? Because when mine came, I was like, oh dear, I can't be asked to do that.
I had to glue my prop back on. I've got an unboxing plan on that next week, but yeah, I thought the bit of the prop was missing originally, but it turns out when I took everything out of the bag because it's all just loose, it just pings across the table.
On the end of those propellers or engines, do you know that?
The rocket tips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they take engine exhaust or engine blast or something, and they through compression they send it to the tips and they spin the blade like that. They can turn that off and they can use it as an auto gyro instead.
Yeah.
The Harrier's got the same. The Harrier's got ducts out of the nose, tail, and on the wingtips to keep it.
Buffer ducts.
Yeah, I know. Plastic Alchemist is building one of these at the moment. He's having right trouble with the with all the gaps. And although I've filled and sanded most of the major gaps, like underneath and that, he's really fretting with the ones around the gear, around the doors here. I just glued everything in place, like landing gear glued in place, cargo doors just glued in, crew door glued in. There's no internal detail, so I didn't see the point in having anything open. And also, there is the functionality to have the wheels go up and down, like play value, but the doors don't close and open. So what was the point?
Yeah.
You either have the wheels up with the doors open or the wheels down with the doors open. So
it's an interesting looking thing, though, isn't it?
It's pretty big, actually. It's one of the bigger kits I've done so far this year. I totally messed up the glue, though. That doesn't move.
It's gone past 10 o'clock. We're going to close up the stream now. But thanks all for watching. We try to get as many comments as we can. We don't reply to them all, obviously, because there's so many. And we do try and get as many up on the screens from the live chat. So it is good that you're here to watch it with us. Obviously, we're back again next week. I'm thinking of another topic. Didn't quite go to plan tonight, but we're getting there in the end. What's up, first brush and everything. But thanks all for watching. And we'll be back again next week. See you all soon. And laters. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you all.
Bye.